And I had to roll over one day with literally tears in my eyes and tell Lady T, I know I've been changed. Because I would not let a Negro do me the way they do me and get away with it.
Right.
And so, the reality begins to kick in, Tone, to where now you're seeing God is using you,
Yeah.
It's not something that you just pride yourself doing for the accolade. I don't do this, my name to be out there. And, she pushed me and motivates me all the time. Look, I don't know how long you going to keep doing this, but you need to get your books out. You need to do X, Y, and Z. I said, baby, that's your focus. That's not mine. But I know the importance of why.
Let me ask you this real quick, because we talk about a lot of business stuff.
I know
We
y'all.
always talk business. You know what I
y'all.
mean? So the one thing about me and my sister, like, the
Y'all
podcast
business
is something
minded,
that we were gonna do anyway at some point, but we started when we jumped the gun on the podcast, which is fine. You have a lot of gifts. You have you got a lot here that needs to come out. What holds you back? And yes, we're gonna get therapeutic on this podcast.
Yes.
What holds you back? Seriously.
Now, honestly, the thing that, and like I say, I like keeping it real, and I like being honest with people. And Lady T, she know my story. She know me personally, Tone. I never sought that. You understand what I'm saying? And so I have always been the type of person, and I done told her over and over, I'll give you the material. You write it. You the author. That's not me. And me personally, Tony, and I, thank y'all for the encouragement words and all that. I never did nothing that I didn't have the heart and passion to do.
Okay.
You understand?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
And so, therefore, I know I'm going to waste my time because I'm not passionate in that area.
That's fair.
But I know she's passionate. I will give her whatever she need out of me and
push it out. Yeah.
Because
but you know what? But when you say that, though, a lot of people that have books out here and stuff like that, that might not even be like what you're talking about. But they get somebody on their team is saying, hey, you need to put this out here, whether it's for a quick money grab or whatever the case is, you need to get this out here. Because a lot of people don't go out here and be like, oh, I'm going to write a bestseller. Nah, But when you make a certain status, whether it's in ministry or entertainment, whatever the case is, most of the time a book is coming out just kind of you can capitalize off of whatever it is.
And that's true. And a lot of leaders have said the same thing. Man, I done blessed so many people with so much to where I done seen a lot of my material floating around out here.
Really?
Yes. And Lady T said, there you go again. But that's not my passion.
Right. Yeah.
So the way I deal with or handle it is you the author. You done got yours out. Come on. Let's sit there and I pour this into you and you put it to work. And because, my time will eventually be gone. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I listened to y'all podcast last week. The last one you post, and she put the 80.
Oh yeah.
I'm like you, bro. I don't look that far. I don't.
And, I mean, it's hard. Like people. Okay, for example, I did a job interview, and I probably didn't get the job because I said this, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm not gonna sit here and fake. She's like, "What do you see yourself in 5 years in this economy, lady?" I have no idea. And I mean, that probably didn't get me the job, but I'm just being real with it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be a manager. I want to take your job." No, I was like, in 5 years, in this economy, and I don't know where we'll be at.
That's where I think.
Like, and because I mean, it's like, and I don't know about y'all, but I know for me, I'm a planner to a point, because when I try to plan too far ahead, it always go left.
Well, see, and I can draw it in closer than that, Tony. I don't plan.
No, you don't.
I don't plan.
You just do.
Seize the moment.
Yeah. And see, that's kind of how I am too. And like sometimes that's cool, but sometimes it is good to kind of have a little bit of an idea. But yeah, that means because I mean, you can kind of control what's happening now.
And because my fear is what you said, you can make plans and then
But that's why I always say expect the unexpected, though.
Well, I always live to expect the unexpected, but that's something.
Yeah, but sometimes the unexpected.
Some things you already know.
Yeah, you already know, and the thing is that the unexpected could be something you really ain't prepared for.
You're not prepared for.
I understand that, but then
it's one thing to have a flat tire, but it's another when the transmission go out and you're stuck on the side of the road.
Yeah. I'm gonna take care of that when that time comes. Get back on my plan. That's just my motto,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
When you're 80 and you sitting here as a millionaire, I'm gonna be like, hey, you did it, sis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
When you do it, I'm with you.
That 80 thing threw me out. I mean, it really threw me off.
That's just how I view
Yeah.
That's just me.
No, that's
just
cool.
me.
That's cool.
It helps me create an urgency. Like I first stated, life is but a vapor. And I'm already 45. So I
You
mean,
looking at 40,
35
years
years. I mean,
down the road.
yo, that's what I'm saying. How are you planning for 35 more years? What are we planning? Like, how many pennies we gonna throw in the bank every day? Like, how many dollars? Like, what are we doing?
That's what I said. By the
At
time
80 years,
I
I'm like,
turn 80,
by the time you have,
told you, I want to be able to chill with my.
I want my 10 acres and a mule and my reparations, and I want all this stuff by 80.
I know that. I mean, it's gonna have to be before 80.
You talking about 80? Look how old I'm gonna be.
Let me ask this question. Hey, audience, you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this one. Do you already have your rocking chair?
I don't want no rocking chair.
I mean, you planning for 80. So what are we doing here? You got your picture for your lemonade. You got your rocking chair. What are we talking about?
Yeah, 80.
But no, I'm gonna ask you this real quick though.
Yes.
So piggybacking off of him, now obviously you were against the Danville thing, right? But seeing how it is now, what's your thoughts on what you've seen as you help him as the first lady?
You really want to know my thoughts?
Yeah, of course. He told me his.
Oh Lord.
Keep
on doing your thing, baby.
Well, no. But hold on.
What?
What have you seen? Like, okay, he told me what he's seen in the community.
Yeah.
What do you see? Like, as far and I
Well,
you know what?
okay,
Hold on. Okay. Let me just do it this way. Since your thing is empowering women, working with women, what have you seen with the women in that ministry, in that demographic and area?
Well, them find their identity back, and being able to walk into their true authentic self,
Okay.
And not giving themselves in many form or fashion that they have been previously. So that's what I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I also love the love that they have, not only for themselves but for, the ones that the community around us.
Okay.
Within the church, because I like I stated, I always tell him, one thing I love about our ministry is how we love each other unconditionally, which can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing, and what I mean by bad is
they get comfortable.
With one another.
Okay.
Which can also stunt your growth. So but with that, like I said, it helped me come out my shell more, and it helped me to, be able to show them what they can do too. Because I'm an introvert. I love to really stay to myself, but being around them, and in the city of Danville, they love to have fun.
Right, of course, yeah. I mean, you got a whole casino there, so why not?
Then two, I'm not a Quartet person, but I had to learn how to adapt to my environment. So whichever way, I saw what brings them joy, I was like, Trae, it's nothing wrong with it. It ain't gonna hurt you. Ain't sinning, So I just learned how to adapt with, with my surroundings. But then I also teach them vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, everybody have their own culture. However, it's nothing wrong with dibbling and dabbling in, each other's lives.
Right.
That's beneficial to each other.
So I'm gonna let you go on this one. So give me a success story with the young lady that you've talked to or interacted with from that ministry.
Jeez, I can name
just name one. No names, nothing like that. Just say, hey, this young lady I spoke to, I remember her doing da, but now she's X, Y, and Z. We gonna celebrate.
Oh gosh.
Amazing testimony.
Well, this young lady, I am truly amazed. As I first said, she came from a different walk of life than me. Mm-hmm. However, I love how she gravitated to us and saw what she wanted and began to put it to work, spiritually and naturally. And dreams and goals that she's been having I'm not going to say on the back burner, but she's been working on it slowly. But being in our presence helped her to realize that what is her heart's desire, she can have it now. She don't have to wait until the timing is right to get my heart's desire. And now she's getting ready to, own her own home.
Okay.
Which is, it just really brought so much joy to me, because I'm like, you going from renting to now owning, and she only been with us less than 6 months.
Wow. Was she in the projects? Just curious. I'm just
No.
Okay.
No.
One of them was.
Huh?
Her apartment was.
I know, but I'm basing on where she's at right now.
Oh, based on where she at now.
Yeah,
yes.
if you want to actually
Her apartment was in one of the worst areas in Danville.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I'm just asking because to see that is a huge accomplishment. To go from that to owning a home
She
is
changed
pretty.
she changed her whole way of thinking of herself and what God has promised her.
And if it can work for you.
Yes, and she's one that Lady T really, who we're close to and keep and pouring out into. It's others in the ministry, but I chose to look more at her because if you seen when she first came in versus now, you would not know it was her. To come in, at one time I said, we're going to put you to work because one thing I believe, if you get in the house of God, start doing something for God, you do less for the world. You get more, in tune with who you are in God. And so she's like, give me time, and never came back with us. So one day I was doing the, order of service, and I said, Lord, I'm going to put you on service. And I called her and said, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. She knocked it out the park. Mm-hmm. I was amazed.
Yes.
From there, she been running. And never had someone stand at the door with that much excitement to greet people in as they come, and everybody like, who does? Where you been? And so, it does your heart good as a leader, something you've been trying to implement into the ministry over, 15 years? And it take one to bring it to life.
Yeah.
And
it's got to be hard to actually, especially nowadays, tell somebody, hey, you're going to do this, especially in that kind of a setting, because it's like, it's not a job. Like, what you mean I'm going to do?
Yeah.
So for somebody to do that, that has to be.
Yeah, it's very inspiring because, you know where they was mentally, broken. And it was a lot of factors that was fighting against her.
Yeah, but she also is one that whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do.
She had that mentality
like we don't put
too.
people in positions where
if
they
ain't got passion for it, I don't even push the pen. Because it goes back to where you asked me concerning the writing of the books. If I don't got passion for something, I don't do it.
Right.
So I'm not going to put you into nothing that you don't have passion for because your passion going to be what drives you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do it even though you don't get paid for doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I value, the way I do ministry. I don't care how it looks at another ministry, but if I ain't got passion for it, I ain't going to do it.
Right.
It might work for you or whatever. I don't do it because I don't have that passion.
Yeah.
Because whereas there's no passion, there's no purpose. And so that's just where I'm at.
But I want to add one more point. And, with seeing the growth within everyone, that's what creates the momentum and wants you to continue to keep going on, no matter how many days you want to, close church doors and don't want to show up.
That's every Sunday we lay there.
Well, it's a lot. I mean, a lot of people, and when you got a small ministry like that, and you having to pretty much support it financially, obviously, a lot of pastors are working day jobs still and all that. It's a lot to do that all week, and then you got to go on a Sunday. Y'all commute too, so I mean, it ain't like y'all sitting back and going down the street to open the doors. You're driving 45 minutes to an hour to open the doors. I mean, so it takes a lot of dedication. A lot of people don't like. Look at that part of it.
It takes it for granted.
But that part. But I'm sure the people in that community, they love that about y'all.
Oh yeah, they
because
do.
it shows the commitment y'all have to that community and the people. So a couple of things we'll get out of here. So going back, you mentioned war, like this era, like all these different wars breaking out. You got Ukraine and Russia, and then now you got Israel and Hamas and Gaza and all this stuff. Do you look at this as any kind of a biblical type event, or do you just think that this is just business as usual in the world?
Well, I can go both ways, business as usual, but throughout the Bible, you always spoke of Israel and Hamas and different names, terminology being used then versus now concerning these wars that there has always been in the areas, those regions, and one thing that I was sharing with Lady T just I believe a couple weeks ago is that it's amazed me because I forgot where I was reading, and I'm reading the text, and I'm listening to the news. And hold up, this is right here, and so and for to safeguard, man, I'm a person, man. That's called right, wrong, wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I always keep up with it because it lines up with scripture. And it's just something, man. It brings, it really sad. It's really sad because of what is being done and what's being ignored. Yes, Israel, God's people, according to scripture, but it brought some things to
To light, yeah.
to light, man. They wrong. There's two left shoes.
So they're doing basically what America did when they took over this country.
Exactly.
Is what they're doing.
So you're literally,
yeah.
So
They're following the American blueprint to take over that country and their resources.
A whole different nation that
Yeah.
you're complaining about, and so. I don't agree with what's being done. I don't agree with the aid that American is giving, Israel to continue to do what they do when you got evidence after evidence that now I was reading how they have set up, positioned themselves to stop food coming in and all this stuff. Same thing with Sudan. They are shooting at the trucks that bringing in
all the supplies and stuff. Wow.
So Sudan is another place where there's starvation. They near starvation, and so
war can be dirty.
It is. And
War
that's what
is very dirty.
Israel have been playing dirty, and just today I was looking at the same thing. They went in and just took all of the news station that was reporting that what was happening over there, shut them down.
Wow.
Shut
Yeah.
them down because
Of course.
they don't want certain stuff to come
They don't
out.
want it to come out, bro.
And so,
Yeah.
my question with it all, Israel, what do you have to hide? And so a lot of this stuff is political driven.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your name to be tarnished because the election is up and all this stuff is coming out. But yes, a lot of it lines up with scripture, biblical. And then, like I say, it's something that has always been.
Yes.
Today is more ways of exposing.
Right.
Yeah, because of social media. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were coming up, we only had, went from 3.
Technology has worked against a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So what we quote all the time, what's done in the dark will be counted.
Everything's in the light now, brother.
Everything is in the light.
And I'm gonna tell you something. All it took was Cat Williams come on that the podcast beginning of the year. He done opened the floodgates to everything. Like he
It hurt a lot of people, but I
Hey.
appreciate his realness.
Oh, yeah.
that's it.
Yes, man.
Going back real quick to the whole thing with Israel and all that. I'm trying to understand. Like, there's a bunch of protests happening. You probably like on the universities
The
and stuff.
campuses, and that's where it's sad at.
And I'm trying to understand. Like, I get it. Like, you might have some Jewish people there that that are here, or background, is Jew and all that. But professors, whatever the case is, you shutting down a university is doing what?
Nothing. Nothing.
Like what? I'm just trying to understand. Like,
Well, Tony, I'm bashful about it all myself, and my prayers is for both, because the enemy can come in, and that's how he keeps us at war with one another, division. Lack of understanding. The Bible said, "People perish for lack of understanding." So, man, my heart just goes out for the Palestinians, those that lost family members and all this stuff through what Israel trying to destroy Hamas and all those in Gaza. So, and then like you said, you look at what Israel, the Jews that's on these campuses, is being attacked for what their, country is doing to a whole, scenario. And so my thing, man, is You know, and this is another thing where I say the church is not healthy because we're not sensitive to what's going on.
Right.
You know, we say prayer changes everything, but we ain't praying for them. We ain't laying on our face for them. So you know, man, I'm just, you know,
Yeah.
literally about, like you said, man, what's going on.
Yeah, what's really
What's
really going on? I
Yeah.
understand everybody's about transparency
Yeah.
now. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But to sit here and shut down whole universities,
Right.
like, and nothing's being done. You're stunning your own growth
Yep.
from graduating at this point because you were trying to prove a point. And it's like, oh, come on.
So now politics is all involved.
Of course.
It's politics.
Oh, yeah, of course. And now we're using up more resources because now you got police everywhere
Everywhere.
having to handle that. And now, Joe Blow down the street robbing whatever because they worried about the
Yeah.
It's
you
wild,
know,
man.
Yeah, and like I say, the world is not getting no better. It getting
No,
worse.
but I think we had a discussion about this maybe briefly. Maybe we talked about it, maybe we didn't. But I feel like social media is definitely
Oh yeah.
a huge factor
Oh, yeah.
It's a big
because
factor.
you could be easily influenced when you
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
a bunch of
All
the
this
same
stuff, yeah.
things
Yeah.
happening
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah.
And of course, the whole influencer piece
Yeah.
of it. Somebody's on there influencing.
Yeah.
If you're into that,
Well, that's
There it is, so.
that's the way manipulation, deception
yeah,
is
Yeah.
played out.
yeah. Because I mean,
But
you
keep showing it,
over and over and over again.
So
And one
this
thing
is
about
what's
it,
out.
yeah. So like when I'm sitting back and watching like CNBC or one of these news sites, they're constantly just running the same thing
stuff,
Right.
yeah.
for hours, and it's like, okay, no wonder people are sitting here,
That's all they think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all they've seen for the last 5 hours. This is one thing right here. It's just like, man, it's got to be true. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
so.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here on this. I need you to tell the story of your interaction with Michael Jordan in your youth. I know you say you don't really know him,
Well, you know,
but I do want to hear the story about your interaction with Michael Jordan's camp or whatever it was. Kind of,
well, my thing is, Tony, I was one that came up playing basketball. My brothers, myself, following the footsteps of my oldest brother, Doug. And so, 8th grade year, he was in 9th grade at Bonner. And this is something they did every year for the sophomore team coming on, is we go to North Carolina. Dean Smith used to have a day on Saturdays where they called the blue and white game. Back then, it was Sam Purpose, James Worthy. Jordan was just simply a regular guy. Nobody had no knowledge of who he was. And so we're out there warming up, playing, shooting around with them, and just, having that moment, but not knowing this was the man that later on everybody be talking about.
yeah.
And so it was one of those moments, man, when my brother and his best friend, Bert Davis, and Aaron King, all of them, they knew back then, my ability, man, to jump, to play was just crazy. Even today, I have to convince myself I'm not that guy anymore. I don't even go to basketball courts or watch,
Right.
Because the temptation to want to get out there.
Yeah.
And your mind play tricks on you.
Is it something that you have a regret about? You didn't pursue it any further,
I really.
or was your life just kind of chaotic and you got out of here?
And, back then, I don't blame nobody but myself. I was the Jordan before that was a Jordan. I put it like that. So it was just crazy at that camp. The dunks that Jordan's doing now, I was doing it in the 8th grade. And so for people to stand back and like, man, it's unbelievable. I never had size, never had height. And so I was even 5'9" all the way through school. And so, but my leaping ability was so crazy because that's all I worked on when I was coming up. It's my legs. And playing on concrete, the dirt hill, coming up is what strengthens my legs. And so the opportunity to be on the court with Jordan, but like I say, I never was a Jordan fan. Didn't care too much for Jordan even when he became pro because I view myself not as him, but just as better as him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
just
Well,
the
as a
way-
competitor,
That's the
right.
way I thought. It won't nothing about him that was impressive to me because I was doing this in the 8th grade.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
You understand
Was
what
there
I'm
any kind of
saying?
interaction with him at all, or
We
no?
all talk, and like I say, we was not at that moment. We was not there to see Jordan because we didn't know Michael.
Right, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't a household
we
name.
didn't know his name. His name was not his. It was his first year at Carolina.
Okay.
So we was there to see the Jane Worthy,
Okay.
the Sam Perkins, the
Oh, wow.
Dohertys. So that's what's the names of the team. We ain't know nothing about no Jordan, but to be on that court with him, and I would say this, and I did see him catch an open floor dunk on Sam Perkins that lit the gym up, and so I'm like, wow, this dude,
He might have something.
Yeah. So
That's what's
it
up.
was years later when his name really became a
Right.
household item.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that's the same dude but we didn't see all that then. You see, we saw somebody coming in, feeling his way through,
Right.
seeing where he was going to fit at.
Yeah.
And so, I don't regret not pursuing basketball. I regret not challenging the people that pushed me back.
Okay.
I had coaches didn't like me because of my attitude. I had coaches that stood against me because I had to be the one who challenged or compete with their son for that position.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
I always got, you ain't Doug. Doug was my oldest brother. They liked the Doug. He was a favorite.
Right.
So, too many coaches that I played with or played for, other than my 8th grade coach that saw an opportunity to get me offered, Tension Hall, stayed out of school every day. I was no dumb kid. I was smart. I was just a troubled child, growing up hurt, wanting a father, seeing everybody in the neighborhood with their fathers on days off and, on the playground. I despised that because my father was not around. And so I was so traumatized in that area of wanting my father, I never focused on nothing else. And so why my other brothers now was pursuing what everybody wanted them to be. You know what I was doing at age 16? Saving up to get my first car so I can go to Baltimore to find my father.
Wow.
So when I got my first car, that was my pursuit.
Wow.
Not knowing where he was at in Baltimore. So that opportunity, I told my friends, look, get in the car, let's go. And so that's where life was all about for me growing up. I want to know who my daddy is. I want my daddy. Anything else didn't matter at the time. So all my troubles didn't come from that because I was a bad kid or, I was this, I was that. I was hurt.
Yeah.
And I never want to see nobody else happy if I wasn't happy.
Oh, man.
So,
Yeah.
I don't regret the path God took me to get me here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I look at it and say, according to Scripture, all things work together for the good of them that love God and call according to the purpose. But I always ask God, that won't good for me.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
But because I knew if I would have had the right people to coach me and to inspire me or to encourage me, I would have been, could have been better prepared and mentally and physically to pursue that basketball era because, that I was great in that area. And even when I met her and, of older age, I was still dunking the same way I was dunking at that early age. And so, that's where people drawn to me, not just to, want me to play, but to be on my team.
Okay.
And so that same heart, that same passion now, Tony, is what drives me in ministry.
Right.
refuse
Yeah,
to
yeah,
lose.
yeah. There you, right,
So
right.
I had
Exactly.
that-
There you
yeah,
go.
I
There
had
you
that
go. See?
mentality all my life. I never played against nobody that I knew I could dominate.
Okay.
I knew my brother was great. He was a Steph Curry to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shoot you out the gym, cross you over, do all of that. And so the only way teams, and I tell this story because there's a principle behind it. I tell this story, only way teams can defeat me is get my brother to guard me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he the only one who knew me.
Right.
So that's where it became discouraging to me.
Wow.
Me and my brother never played on teams together.
What?
We always played against each other.
Oh man.
Because I wanted to play the best of the
Yeah.
best.
Right.
So it was 1 year, and we can end with this story. It was 1 year, summer league. All the greats came together just to defeat our team. This back then coming up was hood playing against hood. You live in Green Street, you play for Green Street, Project, Sealand Road. But at that time, we had moved to Almagro. We're no longer on Sealand Road, no more on Projects. All of them comes together, that side of the town. So we had played everybody in the neighborhood, me and my brother together, but it came to a point where we had beat all this team. They had this big tournament out at Blair's Elementary School. And so my brother called me. He's like, man, I need you. I'm like, what you mean? It's like, man, they don't stack the deck. And one of my favorite rivalry, I used to call him the Sean Kemp of the hood, Mike Williams. And so everybody know Mike Williams, Swan, when the boys get together, Nash. They was older heads, but they was the best of the best in the city, and could have won any pro team and made it. But
wow.
Everybody had that same stigma. Growing up in the area where you didn't have what everybody else have, so you was less fortunate to make it out of those hoods. But going there and getting with my brother, we was the smallest of all the team, never had height, never had size. So they just literally was killing us all through the game.
Mm.
So we put our heads together and said, listen, man, let's just tough it up. I ain't come out here to play with y'all to lose. So this is my oldest brother. And so I had to literally guard. I'm 6 even probably at that time. 6'7", 6'6". That's who I'm guarding. And so it was just like battle. The ref let us play back then. Yeah, you didn't have no floppy LeBrons and all that stuff today. You battle. You ever watch an old Detroit game?
Oh yeah.
You battle. You come through the hole, you gonna get the business. So that's where it was. So we literally, a minute and something left, tied the game. Less than a minute, they called timeout, and my brother looked at me, and he said, you know what we got to do? I said, yeah, I'm with it. And so I didn't know my own jumping ability. I used to jump so high to where it scared me. And so that coming down the court, half court, 10 seconds on the clock, and my brother gave me the head, and every time he do this, I know alley-oop. Man, their whole team was under the basket, knowing the only way we gonna beat them, we ain't gonna let him get near the rim. So by the time my brother crossed half court, I was already in stride. He lobbed that ball up there, man. I'm telling you, it scared the brakes off me. All of this was on the backboard. My waist was literally over the rim when I caught the ball.
Wow.
Over all of them. 6'6", 6'7", 6'5". When I dunked, the whole bleachers just went up. We won the game. Literally, the more to the whole story was simply as this. It's hard being great.
Hey, tell people, anybody that's interested in use a church home, how they can
We're
find it.
located, man. We're just two individuals who love God and love people, man. And
No. How can people find you?
that's what I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
We're located. Yeah, you can find us, man. We're located at 609 King Street, Danville, Virginia. If you're in the Chatham, Pennsylvania County, blast every year. Danville is just a little small town, right? 35 minutes from Greensboro. You go through Reedsville, Eaton, you'll be right in Danville. We're located right off of North Main Street. Many people knows it as the old Ally Building. We're on the corner of King and Church Street. So, we're just a small ministry, man, that's growing. God's
Name of
doing
your
great
ministry?
thing. God's House of the Remnant. We are better known in Danville as the Empowerment Zone, because when you come, you're going to get a life-changing, mind-renewing word. We don't do church. We do ministry. Real people with real problems. So you need a real God and a real word.
Yes.
Anything you want to add before we get out of here? You good?
I'm good.
All right, people, there you have it. It's the Carver Ave Chronicles podcast with Tony and Trae. We are out. Appreciate you, Mr. Wimbush.
Appreciate
The
y'all
prophet in the
having me.
building.
Amen.
Peace.
Hey.
Thanks again for listening to the Carver Ave Chronicles podcast with Tony and Trae. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Definitely subscribe wherever you get your podcast for future episodes.